You know, when we talk about Bitcoin, ownership is, well, it's a completely different ballgame than what you're used to with a bank. I mean, you can just forget about accounts tied to your name or your ID. In this world, everything, and I mean everything, comes down to understanding a few key ideas. And it all starts with the keys that unlock it all.
So think about it for a second. How do you really own something that only exists as computer code? I mean, it's a weird thought, isn't it? You can't hold it in your hand like a gold coin. Well, the answer to that puzzle is something called cryptography. And getting your head around this is absolutely essential if you want to use Bitcoin safely and, with confidence.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to tackle this whole new idea of ownership. Then we'll get into what I call your digital keychain. After that, we need to bust a huge myth about what a wallet actually is. We'll look at the different kinds you can choose, talk about the single most important backup you will ever make, and then wrap it all up by looking at what it really means to be your own bank.
Okay, so here's the absolute #1 thing to get your head around. Owning Bitcoin has nothing to do with your name or your identity. It is purely 100% about who has the secret cryptographic keys. If you have the key, you own the Bitcoin. It's really that simple, and honestly, it's that profound.
And that brings us right to the heart of how Bitcoin security actually works. I like to call it your digital keychain. And it's not just one key, it's actually a special pair of keys that work together to control literally everything you do on the network.
So what we're talking about is a cryptographic key pair. You've got one public key and one private key. They're created together through some pretty clever math, and they're linked forever. This pair is the bedrock, the absolute foundation of your ownership and your power to send Bitcoin securely.
Okay, the best way to wrap your head around this is with a simple analogy. Think of your public key like your bank account number. You can give it out to anyone, right? If someone wants to send you money, you give them that number. No problem. But your private key, oh, that's totally different. That's like your ATM PIN or the password to your bank account. It's the secret that lets you send money. You have to guard that thing with your life because if someone else gets their hands on it, they don't just have access, they have total control of your funds.
And this, right here, is the real magic behind why Bitcoin is so secure. It's what we call a one-way street. See, it's super easy for the math to create a public key from your private key. But trying to go backwards? Trying to guess the private key just by looking at the public one? It's computationally impossible. It would take all the computers in the world billions of years. And that's the genius of it. That one-way function is what allows you to share your public address with the whole world without ever revealing the secret that actually controls your money.
All right, so we've got these super important keys. How in the world do we manage them? Well, that's where wallets come in. But, and this is a big but, you have to be careful. The word wallet itself is probably the single biggest point of confusion for people new to Bitcoin. Because we all think of a leather wallet in our pocket, holding cash, right? Yeah, in the world of Bitcoin, it doesn't work like that at all.
So wait a minute. If your Bitcoins aren't in your wallet, then where are they? It's a really good question, and the answer is going to completely change how you look at this whole thing.
The answer is they're not in your wallet. That's the big secret. Your Bitcoins aren't stored in one place. They're not on your computer, and they're definitely not inside that app on your phone. They only exist as records of transactions, spread out across thousands and thousands of computers all over the world. They're on the blockchain.
So, a much better way to think about a wallet is as a keychain manager. That's its real job. It basically does 3 things. Job number 1, it holds on to your private and public keys for you. Job number 2, it's constantly scanning the global blockchain, looking for any transactions sent to your addresses, and it adds them all up to show you your balance. And finally, job number 3, when you want to send Bitcoin, it uses your private key to create and digitally sign that transaction, and then it broadcasts it out to the network for everyone to see.
Okay, so now that we know what a wallet actually is, the next logical question is, how do you pick one? And the truth is, there's no single best wallet for everyone. It all comes down to a constant balancing act, a trade-off between security and convenience.
The first major difference you need to know about is hot versus cold wallets. Think of a hot wallet as anything that's connected to the internet, like an app on your phone or software on your desktop. They're awesome for convenience, perfect for making quick, everyday payments. But because they're online, they're more vulnerable to hackers and malware. On the flip side, a cold wallet is completely offline. Think of a special little hardware device. It keeps your keys totally isolated from the internet, giving you the absolute best security. The trade-off, it's a little less convenient for quick sends.
Now, the second distinction is maybe even more important.
It's custodial versus non-custodial. And this all comes down to one question. Who holds the keys? With a custodial wallet, like the one you get on a major crypto exchange, a third party is holding your private keys for you. It feels easy, just like a bank, but you are putting 100% of your trust in them. This is where that famous saying comes from, not your keys, not your coins. Now with a non-custodial wallet, you hold the keys. Only you. You are your own bank. And that gives you total sovereign control. But it also means you have total 100% responsibility.
So let's kind of put this all together and see how it plays out. A mobile app? Super convenient for everyday payments, but the security is just medium. An exchange wallet? Even more convenient, especially for trading. But you're giving up control of your keys, so the security is lower. Then you've got a hardware wallet. This is the big one. It's offline, you control the keys, very high security. A bit less convenient, but this is where you want to store any significant amount of value. And a paper wallet is kind of deep cold storage. High security, but very low convenience. It's all about picking the right tool for the job.
All right, so let's say you've done it. You've chosen a non-custodial wallet, you're being your own bank, but then disaster strikes. You drop your phone in a lake, or your hardware wallet just breaks. What happens then? Is it all gone? No. And that brings us to what is, without a doubt, the single most important piece of information you will ever be responsible for: your seed phrase.
So what is a seed phrase? Well, when you set up your wallet, it's going to give you a list of 12 or maybe 24 simple English words in a very specific order. And don't let how simple it looks fool you. This list of words is basically a human-friendly version of your master private key. It is the ultimate backup. If your device is lost, stolen, or destroyed, you can take these words, enter them into a new wallet, and boom, all your funds are restored. It's your ultimate escape hatch. Because this phrase is so powerful, you have to protect it like it's a block of gold. The rules are simple, but they are absolute. You need to write it down physically, on paper, or better yet, stamped into metal. Then store it somewhere secure and offline, like in a safe. Now for the nevers. You never store it digitally. I'm serious. No photos, no text files, no password managers, no cloud storage. Never, ever, ever. And you never share it with anyone, for any reason. If another person gets their hands on your seed phrase, they can and they will steal all of your funds, instantly. And there's no getting them back.
You know, when you put all of these pieces together, the private keys, the non-custodial wallets, the seed phrases, you start to see that this is about so much more than just technology. What we're really talking about is a huge shift in thinking. It's a whole new world of personal sovereignty and, with it, radical responsibility.
You've probably heard the phrase, "be your own bank," thrown around a lot. Well, this is what it actually means. When you are the one in control of your private keys, you have true, undeniable ownership. No bank, no government, no third party can freeze your account, block your transactions, or seize your funds. You are the bank.
And this really gets to the heart of the new paradigm. In the old world of finance, there's always a safety net, right? You forget your password, you just call customer service. With self-custody Bitcoin, that safety net is gone. You are the bank. There is no 1-800 number to call if you mess up. This gives you an incredible, powerful freedom, but it also comes with the heavy weight of absolute, total responsibility. And that's really the key takeaway here. The power you gain with self-custody is just immense, but it demands a level of personal responsibility and attention to detail that, frankly, most of us just aren't used to. It's like bringing the risks of holding physical gold into the digital realm. There are no do-overs. So the final question isn't about the technology. It's a question for you. Freedom is not free. Are you ready for the responsibility?